Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows.
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more.
Hi, I'm Cynthia.
And I'm Brittany.
And this is our podcast, Duo Chat, as you probably know if you're listening to this.
Obviously,
Yeah.
since it's under our name.
Yeah. But today that we're recording this is August 31st, and you probably have known yesterday was posted with the news of the revival of One Tree Hill with Hillary and Sophia, with Danielle's, am I saying her name right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Under her production company and her husband's. You may know.
Who's her husband?
Uh,
Jensen. Oh
yeah,
my God,
Jensen.
Cynthia.
I forgot. I was like thinking of his last name too, but like Apples, yeah. So and it's gonna be with Netflix too, so not even Warner Brothers. So I was thinking about that too. Like maybe I feel like they would have had to like buy out the rights for the show to revive it somewhere else, you know?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Right.
That they can take the name. Is it going to be a different name though?
It could be. I feel like it'd be like maybe One Tree Hill and like added something to it.
Yeah, but like you just said, somebody owns the rights to that show.
Right. I don't think it's the creator. I think it's Warner Brothers, if anything. So.
Yeah, they're the ones that ordered the show to series, so yeah.
I guess maybe the girls put their money together to buy it out, possibly. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so the news has come out, and of course there's mixed reviews because we all know that Danielle and Bevan are could possibly be on the show. I don't know, it was kind of a little vague, but they did post a picture of the four of them together, so possibly at least they'll show up once in a while, Bevan and Danielle. But it's going to be mostly focused on Peyton and Brooke and their families, or at least their kids, no husbands as of yet. We know for sure Chad won't be returning, so we won't see Lucas. But even with just one Scott brother, still wouldn't be the same. And then Jamie too, because he was like the second generation of Scott brothers. So, and Lydia, of course. But
well, you just said it doesn't make sense with a one Scott brother.
Yeah,
that's what the show was for 3 years.
Yeah, and so I was like comparing the two posts too with Hillary and Sophia. It does seem like I wasn't watching the show when it was live. I mean, Brittany wasn't either, but closer to wasn't it the last season actually?
Well, I didn't watch the last. I watched it all on Netflix. I didn't watch.
Oh, okay. So it was already done?
Yep.
Okay.
Because I watched it in May, and obviously they were already done.
Right. Yeah, but you said there were very obvious teams in the adult seasons.
Yes. Well, it sounds to me like
yeah. Well, it sounds like that's happening all over again now with the three girls, but really the girls versus Joey. Now it seems like, because but also like I noticed too that on Hillary's post only Sophia liked it, whereas Sophia's post there are more like well-known celebrities that liked her post.
Like who? I gotta know.
These are just the ones I follow. The ones that liked Sophia's post was Jamie Chun.
Oh, well, that's Brian's wife.
I know, but I'm just saying. And then Bailey Madison and Kat.
This is very entertaining.
McNamara, I don't know. I'm sorry, I might say her name wrong. I know her from Shadowhunters, but those so 1, 2, 3, or two really that have no ties to the show that like the post. But yeah, I just thought that was something. And then Sophia did disable her comments, so they had to have been negative enough for her to do that. Hillary's are still public, and but all the negative comments are mainly on the Drama Queens podcast account on Instagram. I don't know. I know Sophia's on TikTok. I don't know about Hillary or Joe. I don't think. I think just Sophia, but I don't know what they're saying. Sophia's TikTok at the moment. But yeah, so with this revival coming out, we wanted to give our thoughts, and since it's still in the early stages, we wanted to kind of do like little mini episodes of our thoughts as new news comes out. to just add on to the story and what this could possibly be. I am curious just to see what they'll do plot wise and how, since it's Netflix, how that's going to look like visual too.
Okay, the show ended. Lucas and Peyton's story with the two of them.
Right, which is perfect.
How do you screw that up by not having Lucas? Okay, I get Chad's busy. 1000% I stand behind Chad for, having his other projects. But I'm just saying, you cannot make fans happy by, what are you going to say, he's dead?
Right.
People won't agree with that.
Or divorce either, yeah.
Okay, look what happened on Grey's Anatomy.
With Meredith and Derek? Or?
No. With Alex.
Oh, Alex, yeah.
People said he would never do that to Joe. I agreed. People said him and Izzy didn't make sense. I agreed. You don't, because again, when Izzy left, it was under bad circumstances with Alex. Remember, she just left. You're not going to go back to that person.
Yeah, and
if you have kids with that person, you're only going to co-parent.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, oh, I still love you. No. You're going to just be the best parent you can be to that kid.
Yeah. And
that makes no sense. And Joe can be the best stepmom.
Yeah.
Makes no sense that he would do that to her. And everyone always said, after all these years, they ruined his ending because he had grown as a person. What are you going to say about Lucas?
Right.
He also had grown as a character, as a person. You can't just all of a sudden say bye.
Yeah.
And, okay, it's the same thing. 90210. They ended up doing a new show with new kids that go to West Beverly in the early 2000s. And I remember when they brought Donna back. They did not bring David back. And I did not agree with that storyline because the storyline was that Donna and David were separated. And I was like, after 10 years of Beverly Hills 90210, you're going to say that they're separated? I get it's a new show, but you could have just said he's busy. You didn't have to say that they're separated because it's not like Donna was on for the whole season. You know what I mean? You could have at least said he was busy. There's no reason that they needed to be separated. Because again, you are going to make fans upset. Just like One Tree Hill. You can't only put certain people on. Because who is the number one couple, Cynthia, that people support?
Nathan.
Exactly. For me, my favorite couple is Nathan and Haley. I love them.
Yeah.
You can't erase them. You can't kick them out. I mean, their family was the storyline. Without them, what do you have?
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder.
And I just want to say too, my heart goes out to Joy. I can't imagine this is easy to hear the news. Could you?
No. I
wouldn't like it.
But I'm curious of the explanation of why Hayden even came back. So, Tree Hill.
I don't know. I thought she wanted to leave and never come back.
Yeah.
As in Peyton.
Did they even say where they were going or no?
Nope. I thought they just got in a car and he said, "You want to go for a ride?" and never saw him again.
Oh, well, I thought they made it clear that they moved somewhere, I think.
I think Haley did in season 7 or something. I don't know. But I don't see how you can just put these two. I don't know. I mean, how is it all going to work? Because my thing too is their kids are not the same age.
Right.
Here we go. I have issues with shows. All of a sudden, you guys are the same age. All of a sudden, this person has a kid. No. Okay? Lydia Scott makes more sense. because she was a year apart or whatever from the twins, Brooks' kids. That makes more sense. So bringing Haley back makes sense. But Sawyer is like 3, 4 years older than the twins. So that makes no sense. That they're going to be in high school together?
Right. Yeah.
Sawyer is going to be like, ugh, these little children. When you're that age and you're that far apart, Sawyer is going to be so much cooler because she's older than Brooke's kids. You know?
Mhm.
It doesn't make any sense that they're going to be in the same
Right.
school. Plus, especially when you do a TV show, they all has anyone done a show, Cynthia, that um the kids are in different grades and it worked?
Like a majority of the kids seem to be the same class.
Well, what show do you know that worked that the kids weren't in the same grade?
Well, Raven's Home is the only I can think of at the top of my head. There was only one character that was the youngest out of the other grade. They were the same age otherwise. So,
Because I remember on Beverly Hills 90210, David was a year younger than the rest of them. And all of a sudden, one season, they just made him the same grade as the rest of them. It was like, he moved up all of a sudden. But it was because they knew it wouldn't work if they all went to college and David stayed back. I don't know why at the beginning they didn't just put him in the same grade. When they wrote it, that didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, I don't see how this works with them not being in the same grade, unless the story is Peyton and Lucas had another kid that was the same age as the twins.
Yeah.
But my thing is when you do a revival and all of a sudden it doesn't make sense. That somebody has a kid and it just comes out of nowhere. The thing was when Lucas came back in season 9, the twins were born. And when Haley was on the phone, she was talking to Sawyer. They never once said there was another little baby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like Peyton's home with the children.
Mm-hmm.
She was home with Sawyer.
Right.
So if they would have said she's home with the kids, then you could have said, well, great, the one is the twins' age.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can do a revival
Right.
with the twins and their other kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make sense. But because it was never known on One Tree Hill that they had more than one, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Because even if they would have had a kid after One Tree Hill,
Mm-hmm.
the twins would then be older. There is no way it makes sense unless Lydia is a part of this. Because she is the only one that is close in age to the twins. It just doesn't. And again, I am the fan that judges if it makes sense. You can't, because it doesn't make sense that all of a sudden the twins and Sawyer are the same age. Does it make sense to you?
No.
I don't see how it makes sense, and I don't see how it makes sense that Nathan and Haley wouldn't be a part of it.
Right. And if the girls are single for whatever reason, it would just remind me of how Raven's Home started too, because of the same thing. Chelsea and Raven were single mothers with their kids and raising them together, so it's kind of like repeating that. So.
Well, but also, yeah, but we never saw Raven and Chelsea get married and have families either, because they were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's more understandable. Like we never met their husbands.
Well, we know who they are, and they were on there.
But I'm just saying, it wasn't like we watched them grow together.
Well,
Like be be a couple, have children.
There's
Like, you can't just cut
siblings.
Lucas and Julian out, who we have seen. We've seen their weddings.
Yeah.
We've seen the birth of their children. You can't just erase that
Right.
of them being the best fathers to their kids.
Especially Lucas.
Yes. Well, okay. You think Julian would just up
no,
and
I
leave
mean,
his
no.
the kids?
No, I'm just saying because Lucas had that life of being abandoned by his father. So
Yeah. So he would do
yeah.
everything he can to,
Right.
yeah. I think he would do everything he can to fix his marriage, and he would do everything he can to be there for his kids. Yes, there's not a day that Lucas would go by that he wouldn't be there.
Right.
If his kids call, he's there. But I still feel like that'd be the same thing with Julian, because Julian wanted that life.
Right.
So okay, and if Julian's on, but Lucas isn't, it just doesn't make sense. And again, you can't do, okay, like Gilmore Girls. It was great. I think the one thing that they did right that some revivals don't do is they made anyone who's kind of been important on the show, whether it was guest stars or main characters, they kind of had them all come back in a different way, whether it was a scene or the whole show. They invited them back.
Right.
Minus Chad. That was the one person I was like, not okay that he wasn't on it. But I think that was the one thing they did. The one thing I do wonder if they did this on purpose, though. Because you know how there's 3 teams?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't exactly make anyone happy. Because they ruined Logan and Rory. And then you kind of put, because I was Team Logan, so you make us mad as fans. And then you also disappoint Team Dean and Team Jess. So, did you really make anyone happy? No. There was no good win on that show, on that revival.
Well, I didn't like how it seemed like she didn't have any like hard feelings, and they didn't have hard feelings against her. Like they were just, friends getting along. So
Yeah.
I like seeing that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, and okay, then we go to another revival. Girl Meets World. Again, great. They had a lot of people come back. But what did they do wrong?
Have Sean not be with Angela.
Thank you. Again, I loved Sean and Angela. So when I saw that she came back, it was great, but they weren't together. And I was like, nope, don't agree. Because I think in my mind that they found each other in the years after and got together and had kids. That's in my mind. I don't agree with they never came back together. I don't agree.
I also didn't like how Mr. Turner wasn't there for his wedding when he did again. So
I didn't see any of that. My other concern with this is
that it erases Brooke and Amy's friendship from the adult seasons.
no. I was gonna say how cheesy it might be.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. It's Netflix, so you
That
never know.
that's why I'm saying it.
Well, I don't. As long as it's not, I don't think it's gonna be a comedy. If it was a comedy, then it'd be risking that. But if it's a drama, then it should be okay.
A lot of those shows, I don't know if it's because it's filmed so fast or what, but it just doesn't seem natural. And so I just hope that it has the heart and love that One Tree Hill did. That's my hope.
Yeah.
That I think that's the only thing that could save it. Because if you're not going to have the people that most fans want, I'm not going to say all fans, because some fans are happy with this, but I'm saying most fans are not happy with us because their favorite people are not on it.
Right.
And so my hope to save this is have the heart and love and appreciation that One Tree Hill did. But if you're going to make it, but if it's going to become cheesy or not realistic to the show, people will not like it.
Right.
This is why fans have come out with, you know, things they would want and see. But I think you do have to honor that. Okay, all right. Here's one that I hope does not come back, Cynthia. Dawson's Creek.
Right.
What do you mean, right?
You said not come back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why did you say right?
No, I was saying agree.
Why do you agree? I have my reason, but why do you agree? You jumped right in and said I agree.
Well, it shouldn't come back because Jen wouldn't be there, first of all. So
Maybe it'll be like Roseanne and she just comes back out of the dead. Like Dan did. That made no sense. No, but my reason was when they did the 20-year reunion with the cast, the creators said that, because when they asked him where are the characters, he said Joey and Peyton are often, or Joey and, wow, Joey and Pacey are off and on. And I went, nope, doesn't happen. You know why? Because they grew up after those couple years of not being together. They realized what was important. We all saw that. There was no reason why they would be off and on. It wasn't. Now, if you would have said that was Dawson and Joey, I would understand that they were off and on because the whole dang series they were off and on. But Joey and Pacey were not off and on. So I don't agree with that. Especially when you get to be old, you know, your late 20s, 30s, like you start to become mature and you do realize what's important. And I don't agree that they would continuously be off and on. Especially Cynthia. Let's throw kids in. We always said Pacey would never abandon his kids, no matter who he's with. I don't agree that if they're off and on, he's going to what? Just do that and ruin his kids' lives? He wouldn't. Especially if Joey's the love of his life, he's not going to do that. And Joey isn't going to do that either. So I don't agree with that. So please don't bring Dawson's Creek back. Why? Because if you're going to write it that way, I don't want to see it. I want to remember the good times. Same thing with One Tree Hill. If you're going to ruin it, I don't want to see it. Also, okay, so you know how we say people being left out, right? Beverly Hills 90210. They all got together and did their own little thing, which it didn't really make sense to me. It was like their lives, but it wasn't their lives. I don't know if you ever heard it.
Yeah, but I don't watch it.
Me either. And anyway, they had everyone who was a part of it from the beginning. You know, the core. And I loved how they had Shannon a part of it because obviously she left after, season 4. And it went on for 10 years. They didn't cut her out. And this is what I'm saying. How do you do this and cut people out who were on it for 9 years? Peyton was on it for 6. How do you do that?
Yeah.
And also, again, and then we go back to Brooke, like you said. Brooke and Haley became like the best friends.
Mm-hmm.
How do you erase that?
Right.
It'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
Yeah.
And how fans truly react. What are some fan thoughts?
Well, this one fan account I do follow that's been posting all things One Tree Hill stated that the podcast was a project by Hillary, Cynthia, and Joy that fell apart due to internal conflicts now a new project where the producers are Hillary, Danielle, and Sophia. How can you think of having worked for years in a podcast to celebrate a newfound friendship and now exclude joy from a sequel to One Tree Hill? It all seems ridiculous to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I can't imagine um, working with people and then just not including them. Could you?
No.
Especially if you guys say you're friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the big thing too. It's one thing if you were like, I don't associate with this person. I don't talk to this person. We worked together in the past, and that's that. That's one thing. We would understand that. But to do a podcast and then just be like, eh, only only a couple of us are doing it, and leave somebody out. I don't understand. Unless that person didn't want to do it, then it's obviously understandable because that's everyone's choice. I think that's the thing is if it's everyone's choice to be a part of it or not, then that's one thing. But has it been said that everyone has been offered it?
Yeah, they said the cast members were talked to, and then some cast members did comment on Hillary's post, like Brian Greenberg. Is that his full name, Berg?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because screen names can be different than actual names. He put with some emojis and Jaden question mark, like is he gonna replace Lucas? If
Oh God,
with him?
I definitely wouldn't watch.
And then Daphne, who played Victoria, said, 20 years later, I will not have a walker unless it's monogrammed XO Victoria. And then the actress who played, I'm blanking on her name, model season 7 or 8 when she came in. She lives in Michigan.
Jana Kramer.
Yeah, what's her character's name?
My girl, Jana Kramer. Alex.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Alex.
Alex Dupree.
Yeah, she said, Wahoo, ready when you all want me. And then Robert, aka Clay, said, One Tree Hill couldn't be in better hands, sign me up. And then Barbara said, I'm so in, love you guys. And they both used some emojis. Tyler said, I'm not crying, you're crying, proud of you guys. More emojis. And that looks to be it from the cast so far. But yeah.
Yes, well, all those people are associated with them.
Right.
So it makes sense that they would all be a part of this.
Yeah.
Has there been any word on Joy?
No, everything's
Quiet in her area.
no, it's
I'm just not liking this. Because if she's a part of it, we would have heard. She would have talked about it. If she was asked to be a part of it, I feel like she would have a statement. Like she can't do it or something.
Yeah.
That's just what I think. I can't imagine she would have gotten an offer and then just not said anything. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, her last post was 2 days ago about doing her audiobook for her book. And I only see one comment about the revival so far. And just said for her to please join the sequel, One Tree Hill. So yeah. So yeah, just her book, that's it.
So, given how it seems like she's being left out, and they haven't even started, have they?
No.
They've only announced it. If it's getting this much negativity, why would you go through with it?
I don't know, just I guess like they said to reclaim the show for themselves.
I don't get it because if fans are this much upset, and these are the people that are going to be watching the show or not, and they're having there's this much negativity, not positivity, I can't imagine doing it. You know?
Yeah.
I would be like, sorry, guys, this doesn't sound right from the audience. Well, and it's not like Peyton, okay, Peyton had that brother. Brooke has no siblings. It's not like we can do a show where there's other siblings.
Right.
Okay, when Lucas left, they brought in Quinn, Haley's sister. Brooke doesn't have siblings, and Peyton had that brother. But we didn't really know that much about him. So, and also my thing is too, again, if you don't have all of these fan favorite guest stars either, how can you make a good revival that people are going to love?
I don't know. I'm interested to see how they'll handle this when they decide to go through with it at the worst possible time.
Oh yeah, bring that up.
Yeah, I just did.
No, I mean talk about it.
Oh.
What you mean by the worst possible time, Cynthia?
Yeah, just because
why is it the worst possible time?
Because with the rift between Hillary and Joy, and then Sophia's like in the middle of it, and Hillary just left the Drama Queens podcast, and I think they're in season 7 right now with Rob kind of taking the place of Hillary. But I could probably see it just being Joy and Rob for some times too, if they started filming it by the time the podcast is still going on. I feel like Sophia would take breaks, here and there, an episode or two. But she can't be for long because she's in every episode, so. But yeah, I can see it happening.
Well, when Hillary left the podcast, people didn't like those, or, there was negativity on that too.
Yeah.
I mean, if they would have done this revival a year ago, 2 years ago, it would have been no problem because there was no negativity. It was all love and happiness.
Yeah.
And it's gone from them. Well, and 2, isn't Joy's book coming out?
Yeah, in about a month, I think.
Yeah. Well, there was a comment about that, about how it's the worst timing too, because it just seems a little calculated that this is coming out right before her book.
Right.
And she's not a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Like they're trying to overshadow her book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's coming off like, look at what we're doing.
Right.
I don't like it, especially coming from. They seemed like when they started the podcast, like we support each other, we love each other, we're getting our friendship back, this is great. And now it just seems so divided. It's not what fans want.
Right.
Like fans were happy that they were getting back together and doing this, but now it just seems like you got to pick a side. And we don't want to pick, us fans don't want to pick sides.
Right.
We want to just love everyone. And I think that's the thing too, is if you promote love and all of that and not I don't know how to say it.
Promote.
Well, not, if you want to include everyone, if you want to promote that, you can't not do it yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because they do. They promote it all the time, not leaving people out. But then what are you doing?
Right.
And I feel, okay, and the other thing is too, publicity-wise, If a cast member was asked to do this and they said no, wouldn't you make a statement so you're not under target?
Right. Well, it seemed like Chad did that because they confirmed that he's not joining it. So
That's what I mean. Is they're good. They're off the hook with that one. But when it comes to like Joy,
yeah, I don't know. Then maybe she's waiting to see if they will reach out to her. Maybe I don't know.
they work together.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Or maybe they're still in the middle of discussing something. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard
But
to tell without getting everybody's stories.
but if you're getting this much negativity,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be like there should be a statement of, "Don't worry, you guys. She's still. It's still in the works," or something to make it not sound so bad. Like if it's true that she is going to be a part of it or in the talks,
Yeah.
I feel like there should be something, some statement. But silence is a statement. You know what I mean? That's why people always say, if somebody isn't reaching out, if somebody is ignoring you, that's their statement. You know, like when people are like, "Oh, they're not getting back with me." Well, that's your answer.
Right.
There is no answer because that's their answer. Well, what's this? Especially when you're in the public eye. Every move you make, that's what people are watching. And so it's just hard. And it's hard because we love everyone on the show. So to kind of feel a divide, I don't like it. You know? Again, it's one thing if you ask everyone and they all say no. Then great. You did your part.
Yeah.
But if it's true that they're picking and choosing who they want to work with, that doesn't sound good to me.
Right.
As a fan who loves everyone on the show, it doesn't sound fun. Like, as much as I love a dog, Dawson's Creek, I would still want to see Dawson on a revival with them. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because he was on the show. You know, I just don't want him with Joey, that's all. It's the same thing as even if I don't like somebody, I still want to see them because they're part of it.
Yeah.
It's just like if a group of friends aren't like if one person isn't associated with somebody else in the group, it doesn't mean you ignore that person.
Mm-hmm.
You still include them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like there should be a statement because we don't know what's going on because it was only announced. And I feel like there should just be more statements. That way people could get more of understanding. But I don't know. If I'm getting so much negativity, I would definitely have a statement out. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't want people to like talk negatively about the project or you yourself. Because didn't you say Sophia had to turn her comments off or something?
Yeah, disable them. Yeah.
That's what I mean is I wouldn't want that. Like, especially if you're promoting, how good it's going to be or that you're so happy about your project. I just, and again, for them, I hope it does turn out well.
Yeah. Well, Sophia's post has over 250,000 likes, so over a quarter of a million. So I guess that's a good start.
Well, I think especially as they start to film and we start to see more, I think people will get excited about it. It's just the shock factor of certain people not being in it is hard.
Yeah.
And again, especially when people have been on it for 9 years, it's very hard to hear they're not going to be on it. Is hard, but But yes, I mean, I hope it's successful. I hope they do it in the right way and make everybody's storylines
Makes
good
sense.
and make sense and happy and
Yeah.
make fans happy. I think that's what, because again, I don't really know of any reboot that is good. Um, I think that was a thing Joshua Jackson said when asked about a Dawson's Creek. It was like, no, because they left it at a good point. And I agree. I agree with that because you keep going. I will tell you, Cynthia, the creator does regret that.
Oh, okay. Oh, feel better.
Yes, he regrets that. In the time that he did that,
Yeah.
he did it because teen dramas didn't do that.
Okay.
They didn't kill off a main character. So that's why he did it. But he regrets it now. I think because after 20 years, he's gotten so much flack for it. That's probably why.
Yeah.
So yes, he does regret that. That's his regret. So I'm guessing it's your regret.
And I just wondered too if they're gonna film in the same place.
I know that's the thing. Are they going back to Tree Hill?
Right, or do they have to, use a different location for whatever reason?
Yeah, are they all of a sudden in New York?
Does Peyton still have her car? Like, can Hillary get the same car, or is it a different car? So.
Well, and also remember, Brooke moved everything to Tree Hill, her clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
Karen's Cafe they opened.
Yeah.
Is all that going to still be there?
Yeah, I wonder too.
Because remember, they said, well, Brooke can work from Tree Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can't move your business and say, well, I can't work from Tree Hill.
Right, and Peyton was a music producer too, so what's going on with that,
Well, she did kind of leave that to Haley.
Oh, yeah, I forgot, yeah.
Haley ran it.
Well, then what happened to the label,
Well, Haley was in charge. Oh, Haley and Chris Keller were in charge.
Maybe they
gave it back to Peyton.
Yeah, or sold it to somebody else, who knows?
Well, I think Peyton still owned it, so maybe. Well, if they take it to a different city, like New York or LA, maybe Peyton was trying to make it a bigger label, maybe.
That makes sense too.
Because that would make sense why she would be in LA or New York to get it promoted out and everything, for bigger audience and bigger, names. I could see that. And that may be why Lucas isn't there. I don't know. Because you can write a book from anywhere. Well, I'm just trying to point where you could go with this show, but I'm still not seeing it. Because again, if he's still doing his books, he could coach from anywhere. I'm just trying to see where Lucas left off.
Yeah.
What is Lucas doing?
Because when I listen to the Drama Queens podcast for our episodes, Antoine said that he could see skills like coaching the Ravens or a basketball team, so that he could be doing that at high school or something if he came back.
Well, and again, if they're in LA or New York, you could coach anywhere. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, too.
Oh, well, when I mean different location, I mean use a different location as One Tree Hill, not like a whole different location.
I meant get out of... Yes, but if they are still in Tree Hill, Cynthia, that would mean Nathan and Haley are still in Tree Hill.
Yeah, well, it seems like that's what this show is about.
It is. It's called One Tree Hill, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, because they even said, Sophia and Hillary in the post, like, what if you really can go back home, so it has to still be Tree Hill that they're at.
Yeah, but again, I can't see Nathan and Haley leaving Tree Hill.
Right, unless he is traveling with the NBA. Wait a minute.
No, he left. He became an agent.
Yeah, I remember now. Just a second.
I'm just helping you.
Yeah. Well, then maybe he's off still coaching or managing or whatever in other places, like different, countries, around the world, so.
Okay. But Lydia's in school.
Maybe.
Haley and Nathan would not leave Lydia. She wouldn't be homeschooled. She wouldn't.
I could still see Haley teaching her too.
I don't. If Jamie didn't have that tour life, I don't think they would make Lydia.
Yeah, no.
They seemed when they ended, they seemed content with Tree Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine them leaving. They had plenty of opportunities. Haley went on tour. Guess what? They came back to Tree Hill. Nathan was in the NBA. They came back to Tree Hill.
Right.
Everything came back to Tree Hill. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense that after 20 years, they're going, or, well, okay, 12. 20 since it started, but 12 since it ended.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense that they wouldn't be in Tree Hill.
Right.
Unless they are and they're just not talking.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, maybe something happened with the business.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not talking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
But also, in order for it to work too, you have to use the same locations. Because that's where people get their feels from.
Right.
When they see Karen's Cafe, when they see the high school or the gym.
Yeah.
But also, you know what's not there?
What?
The River Court.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as One Tree Hill wrapped, they tore it out.
Maybe they'll put a new one
in. We'll see.
Yeah, like, with any one of them, I could see, like, Peyton or Brooke, even with their money from their businesses, like, donate it to the city to rebuild it or something, show-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them doing that for the show as well.
Maybe they could put a fake one in. Like they put a pool in Melrose Place.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I only know because they're podcast.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, they actually put that in. Interesting. Well, that's a lot of money. So yes, it's going to be interesting as the weeks go on to hear more
Mm-hmm.
And get more feedback from them, hopefully, get more feedback from the fans. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. And I do hope we learn more and we can put it more into perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And we as fans can be happy about this.
Right.
Because right now it's a shock factor. We're all in. All fans are in. Of what?
Yeah.
This doesn't sound good. But I hope we get to the point where this is happy news and we can be supportive. I mean, we are still supportive of this. It's just hard to hear that certain people aren't going to be in it. Because what was the feedback you heard?
From fans?
Yeah, like Nathan, Haley, Lucas, and Skills aren't in it.
Yeah, just mainly a lot of comments about if Haley and Nathan aren't in it, then it's not the show, or Chad too, because the show was about his life to begin with and everything. Just the Scott family in general too. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you can't have a show without one Scott.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said, add Lydia to it.
Yeah.
Then maybe Nathan and Haley are on tour and Brooke is watching Lydia.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
Right.
I don't know. But, not putting those three in it, not even one of the three, doesn't make sense. Unless they do come in as like guest stars. That would make sense. Like they're still in town. They're just not in every episode. That would make sense too. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to release these as like little mini episodes.
As the news breaks.
Yeah. As we go along. So so if you want to send us any of your thoughts about the revival, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And we will see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.